non-governmental organization that is in charge of supporting developing countries in three fields. The first one is to create shared prosperity. The idea is to eliminate poverty and increase inclusiveness. The second one is to advance economic competitiveness, assuring that all countries can benefit from international trade. The third one is to safeguard the environment through cleaner production. But when was it created? In 1950, a study took place by the Economic and Social Council (ECOSOC) focused on rapid industrialization in developing countries. These studies in 1956 ended up concluding the need of a special body that could deal with those problems related to industrialization and productivity. Finally, in 1966, the United Nations established Unido as an autonomous body within the United Nations. The organization is divided in three main departments: the General Director liaison the 168 member states, and the four policy-making organs. The General Conference decides the main policies, appoints the General Director, and elects a member of the Board and the Budget Committee. The Industrial Development Board is in charge of reviewing the implementation of each program. The Program and Budget Committee assists the budget and other financial matters, and the policy-making organ events stipulate the agenda.
So, Unido is located in Vienna, Austria. This organization is located in a city very stable, so they have a very clear view of the general panorama in the industrial industry. Therefore, they try to identify transitional economies in order to promote them.
How is the decision-making process in the agency? How does it elect its senior staff? How influential can be the great powers in the decision-making process? The Constitution of the UN Industrial Development Organization stipulates that the Director General is the Chief Administrative Officer of the organization, who is accountable to its policy-making organs. Subject to the directives of the policy-making organs, the Director General has the overall responsibility and authority to direct the work of the organization.
Unido deploys most of its resources in those zones that need help to attach specific industrial developments. The region covered by Unido's Africa Bureau comprises 45 sub-Saharan countries. The Arab Bureau covers 20 Arab countries out of a total of 22 League Arab states. The Asia and the Pacific has 29 member states that are experiencing multi-pronged growth. Europe and Central Asia Bureau embraces 28 countries, which are highly diverse in terms of geography, history, population, social levels, and the Latin American and Caribbean region has 33 countries.
There are meetings that exist for a few years and others that are held every year in the agency. Here are some of the meetings for 2017. The Third Industrial Development Decade for Africa, KCG Conference, the Least Development Countries Ministerial Conference 2017, the 2017 Africa Industrialization Day, the First Regional Conference on Sustainable Industrial Development.
It's important to highlight that Unido Colombia's office also covers Bolivia, Ecuador, Suriname, Guyana, Peru, Venezuela. We are in an important and central point. We have a huge potential in the industry. Unido is supporting Colombia's effort to integrate into the regional and multilateral trading system by enhancing its trade capacities and performance.
It is important to mention the projects that the agency has developed in Colombian territory. One of the projects is Quality Program for the Cosmetics Sector. This project is called SAFE Plus and is an international cooperation program of technical assistance provided by the Swiss government, which seeks to enable Colombian cosmetic products to overcome technical barriers to access to international markets.
There are two organizations that controls the operation of the Unido. The first one is the AVSI Foundation, that its mission is to support human development in developing countries. AVSI is involved in over than 100 cooperation programs in 37 developing countries in Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Its main areas of activity includes agriculture, food security, and water, energy, as well as a social development. And the second one is the Center for Global Dialogue and Cooperation. This is a no-profit organization that encourages stability and environmental and economic development.
What have been the agency's greatest achievements and greatest failures? The inclusiveness and willingness to help those that are in need are the greatest achievements of this agency. Now, speaking about failures, the formation of Unido has been a long and arduous road full of obstacles. Fortunately, there have been many reforms and things run much more smoothly than they did 30 to 35 years ago. Nonetheless, the worst failure of Unido is that it is prone to politics and the decisions of donor countries. What are the main criticisms surrounding the agency and the most positive opinions about it? The agency has come under quite a lot of criticism in the last 2 decades. The US withdrew in 1996, stating that it had no clear and defined purpose. Washington opposed several policies and positions of the agency, so they withdrew their financial support. Unido has been plagued, as some critics say, by unsound financial management, managerial weakness, anti-market economic policy, poor performing projects, and lots of bureaucracy. President Clinton stated that the agency was yet to define its purpose effectively. The UK withdrew in 2012, as well as Lithuania, New Zealand in 2013, and France and Portugal in December 2014.
In terms of the global economy, the wealth gap and industrial capacity of first and third world countries has been growing exponentially. This puts low and medium income nations in a much bigger risk of industrial stagnation and obsolescence compared to the ever-growing, rapid and advanced technologies being implemented nowadays in developed countries. Unido must make better and more coordinated efforts to aid in the reduction of this gap, as to not let these developing economies live in a new stone age of low industrial production and unsustainable economies.